at least not for the Pirates. Liriano is looking for that first win against Cincinnati since that wild card game, and getting one today would not only sweep the Reds, it would also give the Bucs their longest winning streak of the season. The Drive for 5 is next on Root Sports.
It was a damp morning, but the rain is gone. The tarp's off the field, and we are expecting an on-time start as the Pirates look for a 3-game sweep over the Cincinnati Reds after winning games 1 and 2 so far. Take a look now at the standings, both in the Central Division and in the wild card picture. The Pirates now 2 games out of first place and just a game out of the wild card picture right now. Hi again, everybody. Happy Labor Day weekend with Bob Walk. I'm Tim Never. Robbie Ince-Mikowski will join us in just a little while. Things going pretty well for the Pirates. They can put a nice cherry on top of this cake today with a win, but Neil Walker has been a big reason for the Pirates' success this year. Neil, with a season high and a career high 18 home runs.
Yeah, it's really been the long ball that has been the change in Neil. It really is starting to pull the ball more. That's, I think, the key for him. And driving the ball in the gaps, getting it over the fence, not being just a spray type hitter like he was before. You look at what he did last year with those 16 home runs. An awful lot of those came the last month of the season. His last 500 at-bats, which is kind of like a normal season for anybody, he's hit 25 home runs. So it's the power is there, and it looks like it's there to stay.
And Neil Walker needs one more home run to tie Bill Mazeroski for the most number of home runs by a Pirates second baseman in a single season. Maz hit 19 in 1958. The starting pitchers for this afternoon's ball game, a good matchup. Johnny Cueto and Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, this should really be a nice one right now. I think it's important that for Liriano that those red hitters keep swinging the bats. They've been chasing these first 2 games. We need that to continue.
So Cueto and Liriano, Frankie due for a win against the Reds as the Pirates continue the push to the pennant. The season's 5th month wraps up today, and the Bucs trying to knock off Cincinnati one more time. Lineups and first pitch coming up.
Pirates baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Welcome back to PNC Park. Neil Walker taking us out to second base today. As Walker and the Buccos looking for a 3-game sweep on a Kids' Day Sunday afternoon. The kids dealing with some of the drizzle and the rain that hit the area earlier today, but the field is in tremendous condition here. And folks came equipped with the right stuff today for the final game of this homestand and the final game of this 3-game series. Let's take a look now at Brian Price's lineup for the Cincinnati Reds. It's brought to us by Honda. Billy Hamilton leads off. Christopher Negron will play third base. Phillips at second. And Todd Frazier back at first. 5 for 17 with a pair of home runs against Francisco Liriano. Brian Pena behind the plate today. Ryan Ludwig out in left field makes his first start against the Pirates this year, or this series rather. Chris Heisey next. Ramon Santiago in the 8th spot. And Johnny Cueto batting 9th against left-hander Francisco Liriano.
Take a look at Liriano's numbers. Last start he was a little different than what he normally does. He usually lives by the chase, the changeup, the slider down, getting swings and misses out of the strike zone, but really threw a lot of fastballs for strikes, especially earlier in that game. Kind of established that fact in the strike zone. Watch and see what his pattern is today.
Behind Francisco in the field. Defense brought to you by Volvo. Marte, McCutcheon, Lambo again in right field. Harrison Mercer along with Walker and Ike Davis left to right across the infield. Chris Stewart catching today. Andrew Lambo came out swinging and had a base hit. Ended up 1 for 4 in the game last night. Now Stewart doing the catching today, giving Martin this afternoon off. Look at the dog on the paddleboard. That's a nice dog.
Well, you know, he could be, helping out a little bit. Get the paw off the side, start doing something.
That's what you call a doggy paddle, right?
Just
there.
along for the road, right?
So we're underway. As Hamilton, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against Liriano. 0-1 the count. The 0-1 pitch. In for a strike, and it's 0-2. Object of the game: keep this guy off the base paths. 268 average. When he gets on, he's trouble. Fouls it back. And his next stolen base will tie him for the Reds franchise record for rookies. Francisco Liriano has had his issues with the Reds. Doesn't have a regular season win against them. 7 regular season starts. Frankie's 0-5. Well, he got it when it counted in the wild card game last year. Counted the most.
Yeah, that's the important one. If you're going to be 1-7, that's the way to do it.
And Hamilton down on strikes. Stewart goes down to first to complete the strikeout. Ball in the dirt.
1 out of 7, I meant to say. And there's the chase that you like to see. That's really the bread and butter, is to get guys to swing outside the strike zone. And there it is. That's what Liriano really gets most of the outs in the afternoon off of. Balls that are right down around the chute tops, getting the swing and the miss. And I think the Reds, really the first couple of games, have been very aggressive at the plate. So I like, if they're going to keep doing that, this is a good matchup for Liriano.
Christopher Negron, third baseman, takes a fastball for a strike. And Liriano, who often does well with his changeup and slider lately, he's been throwing the fastball a little bit more and playing off of it. You got a strike right there on Negron. 0-1 pitch. Foul back, 0-2. Liriano, good outing last time out against St. Louis Monday. Went 6 innings of shutout baseball, striking out 8. He's been the hard luck guy on the staff this month. Brian Price, the manager. Jay Bell, bench coach. Negron down on strikes. 2 gone.
Not much of a chase on that one. That was right there. Looked like on the inside corner.
Good start for Frankie.
Yeah, that stayed right there. That's just a swing and a miss on a hittable ball. It shows that pitch had some character to it.
And the grown out on strikes. And the batter now for the Cincinnati Reds will be the second baseman, Brandon Phillips. Phillips hitting .261. Frankie ahead of him. Phillips 0 for 4 in yesterday's game, including hitting into a double play. Nothing in 1 to Phillips.
Back-to-back change-ups out in front of both of them. I think he was watching maybe a little too much of that last start he had. He was going at guys with the fastball, and especially on strike one, he was sitting dead red.
0-2 pitch in the dirt. Trying to get him to chase, couldn't get it.
Yeah, good spot for that 0-2 slider. Throw it down there out of the zone. Maybe you get a check swing called.
Pitching coach Ray Searage taking notes as he does every game in his perch in the dugout. 1-2 pitch to Phillips. 2-2 now.
He lost that one out of his hand early. The changeup is such a touch pitch. You don't have your two main fingers on the back of the ball to control it with that you normally have.
Fastball, a check swing foul.
Well, great location with that. Didn't see Stewart's glove move at all. He wanted it inside. Look where his glove is, right there.
Two delivery. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Francisco Liriano strikes out the side to start the ball game. This afternoon, Josh Harrison getting set to lead off for the Bucks as they'll face Johnny Cueto. Toyota starting lineup for the Pirates. Harrison in the hunt for the batting crown. Andrew Lambeau in the 2 spot. Also in the hunt for the batting crown in the National League is Andrew McCutchen, 14 for 52 with 4 home runs against Johnny Cueto. Walker hitting cleanup. Ike Davis 5th. Starling Marte 6th. Jordy Mercer batting in the 7th spot today with Chris Stewart hitting 8th. And the pitcher Francisco Liriano batting 9th against the Cincinnati Reds ace.
Cueto, obviously the ace of the Reds and one of the aces of the league. He is an absolutely outstanding pitcher, but Hopefully, maybe the weather will bother him a little bit. Whatever, we can get a long ball.
Josh Harrison on the first pitch hits it deep to the left field corner. Back goes Ludwig. Gone! A home run for Jay Hay on the first pitch from Johnny Cueto. It's 1-0 Pirates. Jay Hay does it again. Can you believe this guy?
I don't know if I had a long ball out of my mouth when he hit it. I mean, that's giving me my wish fairly quickly there. They're on a roll, aren't they?
Josh Harrison, the Cincinnati kid, hometown guy from Cincy, gets the Bucks out in front, and listen to this crowd with the Cueto chants left over from the wild card game last October. And this is a playoff atmosphere early at PNC Park.
It looked like a little slider that didn't do much in it. Stayed up and in. Jay Hay's always looking for a fastball to hit, but when it's just a nothing slider up and in like that, I mean, that's pretty easy to make an adjustment to.
Lambeau taps this one foul. Count 0-2 on the right fielder, Andrew Lambeau. Well, what a start. Harrison knocks it out of the yard, and the first pitch thrown by Johnny Cueto. Pirates hoping to rattle the Reds right-hander. Lambeau, hot shot. Oh, good play by Phillips. One out. Well, talked about a playoff atmosphere, Bob, and we remember last year during the wild card game, Cueto dropped the baseball. Russell Martin on the next pitch hits it out. October 1st. A blackout game. Martin and I were talking about this today, but one source, a good friend of Cueto's, told me early this season that Johnny told him the reason he dropped the ball was he was just breaking in a glove, which you're probably not going to break in a glove during a wild card game. And Todd Frazier puts this one away for the second out as McCutchen pops out. He's 0 for 1. I asked Martin his thought on that. He said, no way. Told me today, no way did that happen. He just dropped it. Here's Walker. 59 RBIs for Walker, and we talked about his production, Bob, at the start of the telecast, how it's up this year from last, and now the Pirates, after Neal's appendectomy and his back issue, they got him back healthy and going. He's been providing some pop.
He certainly has gone to becoming a little bit more of a pull hitter ever since probably the end of last August. It's been about a year now. He started trying to pull the ball, drive it with some authority, and it's really worked out for him with all the home runs.
Walker's hit 13 homers against Cincinnati. Made his big league debut against Cincinnati September 1st, 2009. 3-0 now to Walker. So Walker certainly has had plenty of experience against the Cincinnati club, and he's seen this guy a lot.
He loves getting in these hitting accounts. This is where he can take a shot at hitting a long ball. There's 2 outs. There's nobody on. Going to look at a 3-1 pitch. Now is when you say, okay, I'm going to look for a certain pitch, probably a fastball, or not with Cueto, doesn't necessarily have to be. But if I get it, I'm going to try to hit it out of the ballpark.
3-1 is ball 4. 2-out walk issued. And Walker heads down to first base on the base on balls.
You have those approaches, they call it a 2-strike approach when you're behind an account where you're concentrating on the inside half of the baseball when it's coming in. You want to wait a long time before you pull the trigger because you don't want to get fooled if it's an off-speed pitch, all the other stuff. And then the other side of that coin is when you don't care if you look bad on a pitch. You're going to try and give it a ride. And that's why you want to get into those hitters counts, the 2-0 situations, the 3-0, where you can be aggressive. And if you don't get your pitch, you just take it like Walker did and go to first.
Strike one to Ike Davis. Davis hitting .238, 10 home runs. He's got 2 on the homestand, both game winners against St. Louis. Nothing at 2. That one must have been a borderline pitch. Looked like it was a little up. Mike might have thought so.
I don't think he liked either one of those.
Way to ahead, no balls, 2 strikes.
Ike will take a lot of pitches. He's seldom seen swing at anything that's on the border.
He strikes out on 3 pitches looking. Strikeout number 200 on the season for Cueto, but the Pirates strike first on the first pitch to Josh Harrison. He hit it out over the left field wall. Home run number 13 for Josh. 1-0 Pirates.
One swing of the bat on the first pitch of the game. It's 1-0 Pirates here on the North Shore. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Charlie Morton today threw a bullpen session as he tries to work his way back from a sports hernia issue. And in today's Allegheny Health Network injury update, Morton was able to throw 35 pitches today in a bullpen session. I had a chance, Tim, to talk to him afterward, and I asked him how he felt. He said, honestly, I feel the same as I felt before. Now, we don't know what that means. He was going to meet with manager Clint Hurdle to discuss what the next step was. Here's the issue. In terms of rehab start, he really can't have one because the minor league seasons are coming to a close in the next couple days. Instructional ball doesn't start for about another week and a half. So maybe reduced to a sim game, would he may be able to throw should he be able to make a return. All options are on the table. So we'll hopefully get a course of action here in the next couple days and a possible and hopeful return from Charlie.
Well, we'll see what happens with Charlie. Again, the rosters expand tomorrow, so when Charlie comes back, no other roster moves necessary. But Clint did say today that they might need to have him go out again, and go out where? That's the question. 1-2 pitch to Todd Frazier. Up in the air to right field, and Lambeau drifting under it. To catch one out. Todd Frazier, the first baseman today. He is retired, 0 for 1. One gone for the switch hitting catcher Brian Pena, who played first base in yesterday's game.
Well, they finally got a ball put in play off of him anyway. Weak pop fly to the right side. You gotta love the way Liriano is starting out this ball game.
Pena, chopper to the left side, cut off by Harrison. He spins and throws him out by a long way. He didn't get to it. Mercer had it.
That's what you're supposed to do. When you're third baseman, you take everything you can to your left. The ball's going to get to you much quicker than it will be to the shortstop. So that's your ball all the time. The only time you might want to let it go is if you're not sure you can catch it cleanly. You don't want it going off the tip of your glove. But if you can make the play, you make it. You get the ball a lot quicker, and you get a shorter throw to boot.
Allegheny Health Network Super Mo with a good look. A good grip on the ball. Ryan Ludwig to center field, right at Kutch.
Let's go hit.
How about that? A 6-pitch inning for Francisco Liriano, who retires the side in order again.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
Go to the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 Pirates leading the Reds. A leadoff home run on the first pitch by Josh Harrison. Take a look at the Barrel Automotive league leader stats. And Johnny Cueto, with Chance starting up behind him. You see the numbers and ranks in the top 2 in wins, ERA, complete games, innings, and strikeouts. That was coming into the game today. And with the strikeout of Ike Davis, now Cueto with 200 strikeouts becomes just the 3rd Red in franchise history to have 200 strikeouts before the month of September. Jim Maloney and Cueto's idol Mario Soto, the other 2. Starling Marte, a .273 hitter. Pirates left fielder standing in with a 1-1 count. Fouls it back, and it's 1-2. Good start for Liriano. A 6-pitch second inning.
Struck out the side in the first, and what he's going to do in the third for an encore.
Well, he's hung up 2 zeros. Hopes to hang up a bunch more.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Just keep putting up the zeros. How you do it doesn't much matter.
1-2 pitch. Ground ball slowly hit toward the middle. Phillips barehanding, throwing. Base hit for Marte. Second hit off of Johnny Cueto, and it's a leadoff single for Starling Marte.
Marte, it just amazes me when you see how quickly he gets down to first base from that right side. This is going to end up not even being close. A left-hand hitter, you think, okay, they're going to beat that out. Yeah, Marte's almost not even in the shot. He's so far by the base. It's just this speed going down the line is just awesome. If you notice when he swings, especially that last one, he doesn't finish with a great big backswing that kind of screws himself into the ground. It's more under control, and he gives him that first quick step across the plate.
Well, Marte was going and then didn't get a good step and put the brakes on.
Yeah, footing might not be real good around the first base area. And had that little drizzle about game time. You could see he definitely slipped, and then wasn't sure if he's going to be able to get back. Well, that wasn't the greatest jump in the world anyway.
Marte, the club leader in steals with 25. For the first, and he gets back. Caught 8 times, picked off twice. He's trying to take care of the track right now. Everybody seems to be ready to go now. Johnny Cueto wanted to throw the pitch. Brian Pena has caught 8 of 23. To the right side. That ball is going to be foul. Didn't miss by much.
No, but Mercer wasn't hardly running at all. He could see it looking down the line. He knew that it was going to slice into foul territory. I had hopes until I looked down at Mercer. Saw that he had already put the brakes on. Not by much, though. One hop over that little short fence down the right field corner. Boy, that would have been a beauty, too, with Marte running.
Throw to first to Marte back. Close play. I asked Jordy earlier today what makes Cueto so tough. Tell you about that in a second. Look at this.
Ooh, might have had him. They're taking a little while. Frazier's looking in the dugout. He wants them to come out on top, but they're not coming.
Rips this one foul and out of play. Jordy was telling me about facing Cueto and said changes speeds. He's got great location with his stuff, and then he can run a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in on you, and just does it in such a way it makes him an elite pitcher. 15-8, an ERA of 2.26. For first, Marte back. Starling's right at the edge of his range on the lead.
Well, I think he was too far because he was out on that last one. I don't know why they didn't challenge it, but he needs to be a little careful. That one was very close. He's out there again. Big aggressive lead.
Frazier. Toss to Santiago. Now Cueto involved in the rundown. Frazier tagging him.
Footing is just not good enough to pull off a J-Hay. I mean, look at the mud all over his cleats. You can't change direction fast enough in that mud. He's definitely trying to run. He saw something there that made him think that Cueto was going to go home. That's why he flinched off the back towards second base. Maybe gave him a little bit of a knee or a shoulder or something.
Well, 1 out. First out of the inning on the base paths.
Sloppy conditions. You just have to deal with it. No use complaining about it. No use really giving it much of a thought. Just, hey, it's like that for both teams. Going to have a hard time. You can see where he tried to stop.
Two and two to Mercer.
Might have to shorten up the lead a little bit today. I think that's why they were so close. Also, the pickoff throws at first, those first couple, can't really push off hard to get back.
Jordy hammers one to left field. Ludwig looking up. It is gone. A home run for Jordy Mercer.
That's right, Johnny. Home runs today. It's on the menu.
2-0 Pirates. Home run number 8 for Jordy. That's the Mercer.
Very similar pitch. Both home runs. Little sliders. Didn't do a whole lot. That one kind of moved right down the middle. Bell high, just a horrible location. And remember the other slider that got hit out by Jay didn't break much, stayed right on the inside half of the plate and was very much elevated.
Stewart drops down a bunt. Cueto fields, throws out at first is Stewart. Clint Hurdle may be coming up the dugout steps. That was a bang play. Stewart might have been safe, called out by Manny Gonzalez, the first base umpire. And now Clint got to the top of the dugout steps. Going to head back down.
Well, this is not a bad play. You get that wet turf. You know, it's going to pick up some water. Might be tough for Cueto to make the throw. And it was. He almost threw that ball too high. He's off the back. Isn't he?
Got to get another look.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't off the back because they're not going to challenge. But just in that view, it looked like his foot was off the back. Maybe it came off the bag after he already made the catch.
Liriano takes a ball. Francisco's first plate appearance. Todd Frazier, who doesn't always play first base, but part of a revolving door at first this year for the Reds. Apparently able to keep his foot on long enough. Pair came dressed for work today. Liriano, line shot right to Santiago. Pirates get a run on 2 hits. A home run by Jordy Mercer. 2 long balls served up by Cueto. 2-0 Bucks. Each member of your group can get a Pirates cap or have a hot dog and drink credit loaded right onto your ticket. To book your group outing, call 1-800-5-BUCKS or go to pirates.com/groups. Pirates with a 2-0 lead. Jordy Mercer with a home run. 2 solo shots off of Johnny Cueto, the Reds starter. Not too happy as he went into the Reds dugout. Pirates have homered in each of the first 2 innings against him. Josh Harrison had the first one in the first inning, the first pitch he saw from Cueto, and then Mercer the last inning. Home run number 8 for Jordy.
Liriano has been absolutely perfect, striking out the side, then a nice quick second inning, only threw 6 pitches. Just keep mowing them down. Let the frustration stay over on the Cincinnati side.
Here's Heisey, the batter, 7th hitter in the order. And he will take a pitch inside. One and 0 to Heisey, 223 hitter. Liriano's pitch. In for a strike. 1-1. 1 strike pitch from Frankie. In the air to center field. McCutchen, can of corn. 1 out. Heisey is gone, and now the 8 hitter, switch hitting shortstop Ramon Santiago. Santiago hasn't appeared in the series yet. But starting at short today, Zach Cozart, also a right-handed hitter, but Cozart sitting this one out. Last time Santiago faced Liriano in Cincinnati, he had 3 hits off of him. He went 3 for 4 in the game he started. Probably has something to do with why he may be in the lineup today for Brian Price.
He's showing some patience right here off the first couple of pitches. Getting himself in a good count.
2-0 pitch. 3-0. In for a strike, gets back in the count. 3 balls, 1 strike. Liriano 3-10. Kind of a hard luck season. His last win came on July 29th at San Francisco. He has walked the leadoff man. This gives Cueto a chance to bunt him over. Show us how you root for the Bucks. Be our AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, or how you display your Pirate pride. Simply submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during our telecast this afternoon. Looking forward to seeing your pictures. One out. Cueto lays the bunt down foul.
And Liriano really a kind of a no-no there. The ball 4 in front of the pitcher hitting. They could have used Cueto to end the inning and gotten out of it really cleanly. You got to go right after that 8 guy Santiago. Now if Cueto moves him over, you got to face the top of the lineup with somebody in scoring position. Just little things like that in the National League. You got to strategize a little bit.
That one's in fair territory. Stewart will take the out at first base.
You'd rather throw one right down the middle to Santiago and make him hit it somewhere than walk him in front of the pitcher. I mean, even if he hits the ball in a gap and gets a double, you still got the same scenario right now with Hamilton coming up. It's like he did hit a double.
2 men out. Cueto records his 9th sacrifice of the season. It's back to the top of the order, and Billy Hamilton. Hamilton struck out swinging in the first. So before the walk, and after getting Heisey to fly to center to lead off the inning, Liriano had retired 7 straight to start the ball game. Hamilton pops this one up. Foul ground, playable for Davis. And the first pitch out for Hamilton ends the inning. 1 man left for Cincinnati. 2-0 Pirates midway through the 3rd. 2-0 Pirates because of these two swings. The first swing by Harrison on the first pitch he saw today went out of the yard. And then Jordy Mercer with one out did the same thing a little bit further. Cueto not very pleased with the fact that he's already served up 2 long ones.
Not happy with the rain conditions today. Wasn't like when it's wet.
Tuesday was also wet. They had a rain delay, and he said he was pretty upset with the conditions. It was raining. The baseball was very slippery. It's difficult. I'm not making excuses or anything like that, but it took a little time for me to get warm again. Talking about after the rain delay of a little less than an hour.
And if you noticed, he gave up 2 home runs that game also.
And lost that game 3-0. Pitch to Harrison. Swings and drives one to center field, but Hamilton's going to catch up to him. Good swing by Jay. He's putting a sting in the baseball. It is caught by Hamilton, and there's one out for the Pirates in the 3rd.
Trying to go off the plate away with that fastball and just put it on a tee for him.
That's right in the wheelhouse.
Right, but you know what? That's an example that we talk about a lot, that you get outs on balls that are right in the wheelhouse. I mean, a lot of guys, they talk about, oh, I threw 1 bad pitch, 2 bad pitches. Well, that's always a little false, to be honest with you. That everybody throws a lot of pitches in the heart of the strike zone during the course of a game. You throw 100 of them, and they all don't get hit out of the ballpark. Some of them go for pop-ups, fly-outs like that one did, or ground ball outs. Every now and then one will even get taken for a strike, maybe even strike 3. But for the most part, you try to stay out of that center of that strike zone.
Ball and a strike to Lambeau. He's 0 for 1. Inside 2-1. Yesterday's starting pitcher Alfredo Simon, he had a 3-run home run hit off of him early, and it stood up. Well, Lambeau loops one to shallow left. Long run for Negron. He won't get it. That's fair. And into second base safely with a double is Andrew Lambeau.
You can't fault Negron for the effort on that one. I mean, he all out over the shoulder dive to try and make that out. Up and away. The ball doesn't look like much off the bat, and then after a while you're thinking that could fall in for a base hit. Not just a hit, it's a double. Oh, what a great effort.
He's been only back here for a couple of days. He needed to check, make sure he was doing that right.
More like a 2.
Now he got it right. He had it backwards at first. Cutchin takes the ball. Andrews 0 for 1. He popped up to Todd Frazier at first base. Lambeau's first double. And we'll see what Andrew Lambeau can do for the Pirates down the stretch now. And Travis Snyder still a little bit achy from the left hamstring discomfort. And Gregory Polanco not back yet. We expect Gregory until at least Tuesday. AAA. Andrew Lambeau getting an opportunity now. These at bats, starting the last 2 games, producing.
He's making some decent contact. Absolutely scalded that hit he had the first at bat yesterday. Bullet to left field. Hit another one deep to the wall out in right center.
Lambeau has hit in each one of his games. In the first game Friday night, very important pinch hit base hit in the 8th inning. Come around to tie the game on a triple by Harrison. 3-0 to Andrew McCutchen. And rosters do expand tomorrow. Clint Hurdle telling me earlier that there will be some guys that will join the team tomorrow, some guys Tuesday.
Remember what I said earlier, when you get a hitter's count with Cueto, you can't necessarily just set fastball. You might want to look for something else. Well, that's an example of why. There was a 3-0 pitch, and he went breaking ball. Again, 3-1, same pitch, breaking ball.
McCutchen, what are you thinking here? Fastball this time, or would he come back with another breaking ball?
You better not be thinking any of that. You better be just going through your normal swing and approach, because you can't guess whether you can with no strikes or 1 strike, but you get 2 strikes, you get to put guessing.
Payoff pitch is pulled foul.
And when you're 2-0, 3-1, that's when you can afford to guess. The reason is because you can afford to be wrong in those counts. But when it's 3-2 or any 2-strike count, the guessing has to stop at that point, because you can't afford to be wrong.
Two down to third, foul. And go back to second base. Three and 2 to Andrew McCutchen. 1 out. Pirates half of the third. Bucks with a 2-0 lead. Two again fouled back. Cubs and St. Louis underway now at Busch Stadium, top of the first inning. If the Cubs can beat the Cardinals again today, the Pirates win here, they would tie the Cardinals heading into that series starting tomorrow afternoon. In second place, all even. San Francisco hosting Milwaukee again. The Giants winning again over the Brewers last night. 3-2. Struck him out. With a fastball of 94.
They really worked him inside. But I mean, he had some hittable pitches to hit in hitters counts. Those were not the changeups, the sliders that are in the strike zone in the inside half of the plate. In fact, those were the pitches that Cueto's been getting hurt on. Kutch just couldn't get to those. Didn't get to him.
2 outs for Neil Walker. Walker took a base on balls in the first inning. He'd like to pick up Lambeau at second base right here. And ball, 1 strike.
I think he would like to also, to the point to where he didn't have the patience he normally has. Walker, one of the better eyes, especially with runners in scoring position. He definitely went after one well out of the zone on that first strike. Maybe doing a little guessing.
Lambeau off of second base, a 1-out double for him. And Walker to Santiago at short. That'll do it. No runs, a hit, a man left. We're through 3 full at PNC Park. Pirates 2, Reds nothing.
Pirates baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Impala and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
2-0 Pirates in front as we start the fourth inning at PNC Park. And then Lopez, the head groundskeeper, talking to the umpires between innings.
Giving them a little update.
Our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. 1968, our Steve Blass starts the game, then moves to left field after facing the first batter. Elroy Face comes in, faces a batter, and ties a major league record with 802 appearances with a single team. Blass then returns to pitch the rest of the game, but did not get credit for the complete game or shutout. And the Pirates 8-0 win over the Braves. It was a one-hitter in Elroy's record.
You know what? I would give up a complete game on my record to have had one inning in left field. I think that'd be great. And I didn't have hardly any complete games either. I'm giving up a lot.
That wasn't the point. He wasn't asking to be in left field. But you wanted to play a position anyway.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, that's your point.
Is it would have been worth a complete game for me to play an inning in left field. Just even one batter. I think that would have been great. I don't know how Steve felt about it. But
you were trying to get into a game at third base one time, weren't you?
I've always been trying to get in. Got into an exhibition game. That was it.
1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Negron.
Put me out in right field with the Dandelions. I was out there feeding seagulls.
Was that in Bradenton?
No, actually it was in it's the AA team in Harrisburg.
Oh. I was going to say, if it was down in Bradenton, plenty of seagulls to feed. Negron strikes out, ball in the dirt. Stewart down to first. Strikeout number 4 for Liriano.
Nice block. Yeah, the ball didn't go anywhere. Look at right off the chest protector. When it gets that chest protector and all that padding, 90% of the time it's just going to land soft, stay right there, and the catcher then doesn't have to chase it down very far. Stewart had that one laying right in front of him.
Brandon Phillips struck out of the first. He taps one toward the mound. Frankie's got it. A little toss to right. Quickly, 2 men out.
Well, he's being very efficient, isn't he? Getting some nice quick outs this afternoon.
36 pitches so far for Liriano.
The Reds in this series have been very anxious to swing the bat. Which is absolutely great, especially against Liriano. He eats guys up that are too aggressive and won't be patient with him.
I want to note to Todd Frazier. Frazier flying to right field in the second. And this time a hit. That's the first hit off of Liriano. Second game in a row that Frazier with a 4th inning hit has taken a no-hitter away. Vance Worley with a home run yesterday and gets a base hit here with 2 outs.
And went out and got a ball a little bit down and away. Change up. Not down and away out of the strike zone, but in that corner of the strike zone. The first baseman having a chat.
Vance had a similar start yesterday. Ended up earning his 6th win of the year after holding the Reds hitless through 3 1/3. Frankie an out longer today, 3 2/3. Worley had to be pretty happy with his outing yesterday. He was very good. Edinson Volquez before that on Friday. He also went deep into the game, into the 7th, without giving up a hit. The Pirates starters, Bob, since that 7-game losing skid, the Pirates starters have been excellent.
And that's why they're winning. Baseball really is a kind of simple game when you're looking for a winning formula. It's all begins with the starting pitcher. You know, that you have to add on some things, but if you don't have starting pitching, then what else matters?
Yeah. 1-2. Ball 2 strikes, 2 down. Frazier at first.
Yeah, I think the word foundation gets thrown around a little too much. You know, this foundation of that, foundation of this. But is there any question that baseball teams aren't built on, winning baseball teams aren't built on their starting pitching?
Absolutely.
You have to start with that. Before you move on to other areas, you better have you know, not only 5 starters, but you got to have a couple more ready to go down to your farm team in AAA, because you got to have some depth there. That's what you call running on first move. Obviously, if that was a pickoff throw, he would have been out easily. But you take that chance. That's like a hitter guessing on a pitch. Frazier's guessing home. As soon as he sees any movement, he's going to run. And if he guesses right, he's got a fantastic jump.
And they poke past the mound. Walker is there. He'll step on the bag. That's it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left through 3 1/2 for PNC Park. 2-0 Pirates. Delaware yesterday. Clint Hurdle joked to me before the game, and he said it last night, saying the only offense that was on the North Shore yesterday was at Heinz Field.
Yep.
Nap time. Cueto's pitch to Ike Davis. There's a base hit. Leadoff single for Ike. Well, some news concerning the Reds, Bob. Just prior to the game today, the Reds traded relief pitcher Jonathan Broxton to the Milwaukee Brewers for 2 players to be named later. Broxton is under contract through next year at a salary of $9 million that the Brewers apparently will inherit.
I'm kind of wondering if that's just the beginning of maybe a little bit of an overhaul for these Reds. After this season with all the injuries, I'm sure it's kind of a disappointment for them. Might be just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, the Pirates have hit Broxton well, and there's still 3 more against the Brewers to come. So chances are we'll see Broxton again here at PNC Park soon. Next homestand. Strike on the inside corner to Marte. Today's the day, last day of August. You might see some other trades. I know the Oakland Athletics have picked up Adam Dunn from the White Sox as a designated hitter. But you might still see some other things as the final day of August. Remember, it was a year ago when the Pirates got Marlon Byrd and Justin Morneau on this day.
Byrd was a fabulous acquisition. It just did a fantastic job for the Pirates. He was a difference maker.
This is the end of the trading period where guys have to clear waivers. So Broxton is now a Brewer. On his way to San Francisco to join Milwaukee for their game tonight. 0-2 to Marte. Davis at first, held on by Frazier. Cueto's 0-2. Marte, ground ball, flipped by Phillips. Santiago safe at first, and Frazier is begging his manager to come out.
Well, he did this yesterday and he was wrong. So we'll see how this one turns out.
So Brian Price looking back in at Jay Bell to see if he gives him the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Looked like Cueto did not get any of that. Went straight through to Phillips.
Looked like he's by the bag. Ooh, I don't know.
Well, the Reds are going to challenge this one.
Yeah, this Allegheny Health Network Supermo is definitely making this call look shaky. I don't know if it's going to stand up.
I wonder if Manny Gonzalez was thinking about the last time there was a close play at first base. That
there's a ball in the glove, foot's not on the bag. This is going to be overturned.
Well, the last time Frazier had a play there, we looked at it after the fact and showed that his foot was not on the base when Stewart tried to bunt his way on.
Yeah, his foot had come off the base, it looked like. We looked at it a little bit in between innings. Yeah, there was another play, a pickoff play earlier that Cincinnati didn't challenge, and it looked like there was a tag on Marte again that where he should have been out but was called safe. A lot of close plays already in this ball game.
All right, we're going to get the call here momentarily.
I think we know what this one's going to be.
Overturned. So a double play. 4-6-3. Davis erased on the bases. And after a video review, there are now 2 outs. Johnny Cueto will face Jordy Mercer. Mercer homered off him in the second inning. Fouls this one back, and it's 0-1 to Jordy. And the rosters will expand as soon as tomorrow for the Pirates. Do expect to see Stolmy Pimentel back, and also Tony Sanchez is expected to rejoin the club. Mercer base hit. Two-out single for Jordy. Second hit of the inning off of Cueto. But I wouldn't expect the Pirates to go up and use a full number 40, because sometimes the manager will say too many guys can be too many guys. You want to bring up guys that can help you when you're in the pennant race. help you win a game, and that's something that Hurdle has maintained when he's answered questions about the rosters expanding. Expect to have some pitching help, perhaps, some guys who have done well in AAA in pitching. Maybe another left-hander, perhaps.
Well, the thing it allows you to do is that you never have to worry then about being caught short in an extra inning ball game, or that sort of thing. You can get all the extra guys, make the moves you want. And if you're on offense, it's awfully tough for the other team to get the right on right or left on left matchup that they're looking for. You have so many pinch hitters and you can throw out there at them.
Stewart takes the ball outside. 3-0 to Chris Stewart. Now, one name as a possibility that we could see, haven't seen here in a while, he's now converted to the outfield. Chase Darno. He's had a great season this year, and the Pirates might be looking for another outfielder. Three and 1 to Stewart. Now from the pitching side, Casey Sadler expected to be back. We'll see how it all shakes down over the next day or so. Stewart pops it up on the infield. Brandon Phillips called off by Frazier. Frazier will make the catch. Cueto's out of the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. On to the 5th. Pirates 2, Reds nothing.
Out here on the North Shore, having a good day. It was a good day for the Bradenton Marauders, the high A minor league affiliate for the Pirates, as they clinch a playoff spot. Just the 3rd time in franchise history they've done it. They did it in 2010 and 2011, and they're heading back in 2014. They won game 1 of the doubleheader against the Charlotte Stonecraps today. Now here's the deal. They're going to play a best of 3 on Tuesday, and the Marauders will start the game at home and then play games 2 and 3. Now they're playing Fort Myers, the Twins affiliate, but their ballpark is under construction right now, being renovated, so they're going to play games 2 and 3 at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers, home of the Boston Red Sox high A team. Now they're just moments or a couple outs away. They're in the bottom of the or top of the 9th. In the second game of the doubleheader, it doesn't mean anything, but if they win, it'll be their 78th win. They already set the record, 77 wins. That's a franchise record. And the South Division has never won the Florida State League Championship, so let's hope the Marauders can do it. One last note, Tyler Glasnow is slated to pitch. They haven't confirmed it yet, but he might pitch in his first playoff game on Tuesday. Some valuable experience. Remember, they had the discussion, do they promote him to Altoona, or do they let him pitch in big ball games at high A Bradenton? And here he is with a golden opportunity to do it, Tim.
Well, that's great. That's terrific for him. Terrific for the Marauders organization. And the city of Bradenton. Have a playoff team now for the first time. It's going to be a real nice thing for them. Hopefully they go all the way and win it all.
It really is. It's a great city, and it is a neat thing. Very happy that they got that full-time team down there, and they've been very successful.
Be great to go back to McKechnie Field and see a pennant up there.
It's such a beautiful little ballpark that it's just a shame that it was being used for most of its life just for spring training. But now, good baseball there for the entire summer.
Ludwig takes ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Ryan Ludwig to lead off the 5th inning. Still a little bit damp today from the rain that came through. No rain at all now. This game had an on-time start today. Here's Terry.
Getting everybody to wave. Everybody wave.
Right fielder Chris Heisey ties the game. A 2-run homer. That was a no-doubter off the bat for Heisey. The leadoff walk proves extremely costly for Liriano, and it's back to square one.
Yeah, not a very good spot with that one.
This is the 2nd home run of the year for Heisey.
A couple innings ago, I was talking about that pitch down the middle. Sometimes you get away with it. It'll be a strike, pop up, fly out, and sometimes they do go out of the ballpark. And you can chalk that one up into the column that do go out of the ballpark. It was down the middle and it was launched. There it is. Change up. And, you know, Liriano, he throws so many change ups. You got to have, I'm sure, a lot of hitters guessing for a change up. So when they get it in that spot, they're not going to miss that pitch very often.
That one hit a long way. 1-2 pitch. Santiago fouls this one off. Stays 1-2. And now for the Pirates offensively, imperative they find a way to score more against Johnny Cueto. In his 15 prior starts here, Cueto has allowed more than 2 runs only 3 times. Did he slip there, Bob?
Well, something happened. He definitely let that changeup go way high.
2-2 pitch to Ramon Santiago. And that is going to be down for a base hit. Hard struck single by Santiago.
They get some things figured out here. 5th inning. Still nobody out. Cueto get another chance for a sacrifice bunt. Move Santiago up.
Sacrificed successfully for the 9th time back in the 3rd inning. 9th time this season. Go to first base and back is Santiago. 2-2 ball game. Almost halfway through. Chris Heisey. It's his 2nd home run of the season. After a leadoff walk to Ludwig. Cueto gets the bunt down, and Davis throws on to Walker. And now the Reds have the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out.
Hey, I love it when you can get that pitcher up there in a bunt situation and let him just contribute with a sacrifice, something that he practices almost every day. Cueto's got a couple down.
Here's Billy Hamilton 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the 1st and popped out foul to Ike Davis in the 3rd inning. 3rd time now through the order for the Reds. They're just starting their 3rd time through. Ball 1 to Hamilton. Pirates were jump started. 2 home runs. One by Harrison, one by Mercer. And now the home run by Heisey with Ludwig aboard has tied it. Two balls and no strikes. Ariano started his outing today, retiring the first 7, including striking out the side, swinging in the first. Walked Santiago in the 3rd inning. Now Santiago with a base hit. He's at second with 1 out. 2-0. Hamilton, a chopper back to Liriano. Bobbles, throws hard to first base to retire Hamilton.
You got to throw it hard. Hamilton going down that line.
Santiago advances to 3rd.
Quicker it gets there, the better.
Hamilton 0 for 3.
He knows that's part of his game. And when he hits a chopper in the infield like that, most other hitters will be saying some bad things under their breath as they're running down there. Every time he does it, he's thinking, okay, I got a hit or a good opportunity to get a hit. Through the course of the season, he'll beat on a ton of those balls just chopped out in front of the plate. The pitcher is slow getting to him at all, or if they have to go too far to the line to make a play.
Two balls and no strikes to Negron. Can't teach speed. And one thing about it, Glenn Hurdle mentioned this the other day, speed never takes a day off. Well, in St. Louis, they're in the 2nd inning. The Cubs get a home run from Luis Valbuena. They are now up 5-0 over the Cardinals in the 2nd. Oh, strike to Negron. 3 balls and a strike for the Reds' 3rd baseman. Santiago, the go-ahead run at 3rd base, 2 down, and the 3-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Slider that really stayed right at the knees. Again, a pitch that shows it doesn't have to get chases to get those swing and misses. Wow. Oh. That must have been a good eye. That would look good.
Liriano walks 2nd man of the inning. And Chris Stewart still his head turned back toward home plate umpire Reynolds. Borderline, but just outside.
Good eye.
Guess so.
That's all you can say is he eyed that one up nicely.
Jim Reynolds behind the plate today. Only Gonzalez at first, Field and Culbreth, the crew chief at 2nd. Brian Knight back at 3rd. So now time for a little get together on the hill. As the Reds have a 2-out threat going on. They've got 2 runs in so far this inning. The Icy Light Landing at PNC Park is located behind the left field bleachers. Stop by throughout the season to enjoy draft beers and get all 3 limited edition Pirates cans. Buccos would like to hit a few more out to the Icy Light Landing. Maybe Mercer's went out that way. 2-2 game. Pirates hoping they can sweep these Reds. Reds are heading to Baltimore right after the game. They'll have a day off in Baltimore tomorrow, and they'll start a series with the Orioles Tuesday. Phillips with runners at the corners, 2 down. Gets away from Stewart. Only 1 runner advances. Negron down to 2nd.
Tough one to block. I think that one hit way out in front of the plate. Wow. In front of the plate, I guess so. Almost didn't clear the grass. What happened on that pitch?
2 men in scoring position for Phillips, who's 0 for 2. Struck out and grounded out. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Phillips. This time with a thumb injury, had surgery back recently. So his home run numbers are down. Just 7 of them. 2-1. Pirates will be heading to St. Louis immediately after this ball game. They'll play an afternoon game there tomorrow. Garrett Cole will be recalled technically from Single-A Bristol. Paper move. They had to option Cole, but he'll be activated tomorrow for the game. Strike 2.
Seems like Phillips, just about every swing he has taken, he's out in front. Can't wait long enough on that changeup. They keep throwing it. Keep swinging too soon.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Get 1 more by him.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bounced and blocked by Stewart.
They tried to really bury a slider. A great block by Stewart. That went out in front of the play also, but not nearly as far out in front. Hit just right on the front edge, it looked like. A lot of pressure, when you call those breaking balls and there's a man at third, especially with 2 strikes, that pitcher wants to really snap it off. A good chance it's going to bounce.
Payoff pitch, a slow roller, swinging bunt, fielded by Liriano, throws him out. 2 runs come in on the home run by Chris Heisey, and the Reds lead 2. The game tied at 2. Panthers Rewind on Root Sports. Relive every Panthers touchdown, pass, and play from their most recent matchup every Sunday night this fall, starting with their season opener against Delaware. Panthers Rewind, Delaware versus Pitt, tonight at 6 on Root Sports. Hope they got all the touchdowns in. There was a lot of them. 2-2.
Sure they didn't miss a single one.
Well, that's interesting. Brought a friend with him.
Yeah, that might be a little spooky there.
It's
on a broom. It's not so spooky. It's on a broom. I thought it was on a spare.
I did too. Leading off takes a strike. What do you call that thing? Shrunken head?
I guess.
It must have a name. Some sort of name. I figured I'd ask you.
I like shrunken head.
Because you're either going to tell me the truth, or if you don't know the truth, you're going to make it up and try to make it believable. He's brought a boots.
The right stuff. Making use of them, too. I like that. You bring them, you might as well stomp some puddles.
Nothing in 2 to Liriano. Down on strikes. Good cut by Frankie, but he is out and there's one gone. Well, Cueto's got to feel like he's got new life in this one after serving up 2 long balls early.
Yeah, you know, you're always you feel, unless it really gets out of hand, you feel you're in the ball game. 2 runs. It puts a little pressure on you, I think, to like, okay, now I can't bend anymore. I got to hold it right there. But you're right. Now that the deficit has been made up, and now it's almost kind of like a little different kind of pressure. Now, well, okay, the boys came back to me. They gave me my game back, and now I got to make sure I do something good with it.
Chris Heiser, just his 2nd homer of the season, tied the game.
One thing about pitching, you always feel like it's, you know, it's not just you out there, that you feel the weight of everybody else. You know, you have the ball in your hand, and I guess that's why they get the W's and the L's in the stat sheet. But if you care, I think when you have a bad game, that probably hurts more than anything else. You're always thinking, well, I let my guys down. When they come back, tie the game for you, you gotta show up.
Phillips throws out Harrison, 2 gone. September 19th is the first ever fan vote Free Shirt Friday presented by FedEx. All the power is in the hands of the fans. Simply pick your favorite shirt and tweet using the appropriate hashtag. Voting ends this Friday. Get to PNC Park September 19th to see if your favorite is the winner. Get the vote for the t-shirt you want this time around. Lambeau looks at a pitch down low, ball 1. Lambeau had a double last time up. He's 1 for 2. Been here 3 days, hitting .429. 1-1. Turning into a pretty nice day here, actually, considering all the rain we had this morning. The sun has tried to sneak out every now and again. Strike 2 to Lambeau. Still clouds in the skies over Pittsburgh, but hasn't been any wet stuff since just before the game.
I'm glad it slowed down a little bit. Right in the beginning, everything. Remember how sloppy the field was? The pick off of Marte, but now it'll start to firm up a little bit, dry off.
1-2 to Andrew Lambeau. 2-2 ball game, bottom of the 5th. Pirates won the first 2, trying to sweep today as they head to St. Louis for a key series against the Cardinals. Final 3 games of the regular season against St. Louis. Tomorrow afternoon, a Labor Day afternoon game, and then Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon again. Lambeau strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning, and the Pirates retired in order as we head to the 6th. Pirates 2, Reds 2. currently look like this. Cards just a game back of the Brewers. Pirates a game back of the Cards, 2 back of the Brewers. Things could change today as the sunshine is out now for really the first time.
Yeah, how about that? They get a little rise out of the crowd too when the sun came out.
Looks up on the rotunda now can get some sun.
Hope everybody has their sunglasses out there on the in the outfield.
To right field, Lambeau over to get it off the bat of Todd Frazier. 1 out for Cincinnati. Frazier's now 1 for 3. Pretty day here, much different than it was when we arrived this morning.
Yeah, for most of the morning while we were here, we were concerned that the game would even start on time. It did, and there hasn't really been any problems whatsoever.
And as hard as it was raining at one point this morning, started thinking about, okay, let's check the common off days. Let's see if this game's even going to get played. But absolutely, it gets played today. So yeah, there wouldn't be any common off days. There would not be a possibility to make up a game here until after the last game of the regular season. But we don't have to worry about that at all now.
Got to worry about these next 4 innings, though. Big game, got to win.
Strike 2 to Pena. Garrett Cole's going to pitch tomorrow against Lance Lynn of the Cardinals at Busch Stadium in an afternoon game. Hope you're all enjoying your Labor Day weekend. One more day of it tomorrow. It's a foul ball. Third base umpire Brian Knight right on it.
Pretty close. It's always a difficult call, I think, unless you're standing at the bag looking straight down on top of it. It's always just kind of a little bit of a guess as to where the ball was the moment it was over the top of the bag, or was it off to the side?
Nice day to be doing that. River's pretty calm right now. Kayaks are out.
Yeah, now that the sun has come out, it's gorgeous out there. Calm, not much of a wind. Still see some gray clouds off in the distance.
The left side of the infield responsible for the Pirates scoring, each with a solo homer. Mercer and Harrison. Pirates need to find a way to generate some more offense against Johnny Cueto. Chris Heisey with a 2-run homer for Cincinnati. Scoring Ryan Ludwig after Ludwig had walked. Ground ball to Mercer. Pena's out.
Just 79 pitches so far, 80 pitches, excuse me. Get one more quick out. Go to the bat rack and see if we can do some damage against Cueto. Maybe another home run. Be nice this time. See if we can get somebody on. That's what you're really looking for, is somebody to put one over the fence that'll count for 2.
Well, Marte was on in the second and then was picked off. He had a leadoff single to start the inning, and then after he was out, Mercer followed that up with a home run. Jay Hay all day. It's been Jay Hay all season. First time All-Star, and is in serious contention now for the batting crown. Just another subplot to follow as we get down the stretch. See what McCutchen and Harrison do, chasing Justin Morneau. Ben Revere of the Phillies. 3-1 to Ludwig.
Be interested to see how the MVP voting goes this year. The Pirates win the division.
Well, it seems pretty open in the National League again. There's really not one player running away with anything. Count is full to Ludwig.
Jay continues to hit like he has in September. I wonder if the Pirate vote will get split. Jay Hay and Kutch.
Full count to Ludwig. So he waits for Francisco to get ready on top of the rubber.
Look like he's stretching his back out a little bit.
Payoff pitch. Foul back. Three and two to Ludwig. Base hit.
Yeah, that side was open. He took advantage of it.
2-out single for Ludwig. Second time he's been aboard today. He's now 1 for 2. Clint Hurdle looks like he's heading over to the phone, maybe. Or maybe not. So Clint's hip's been bothering him again lately. Seems to be bothering a little more as the season goes along.
Fastball this time. Give Heisey another change. I think changeup's fine as long as he locates it better than the home run changeup.
Seven pitches.
That fifth
in
inning,
the fifth.
Probably took a little bit out of him.
2-0 to Heisey. And Stewart needs a meeting.
Might ask him about that back when he was walking off the back side of the mound, and you could see he was trying to stretch a little bit. Ludwig had to step out and waiting for him. I wonder if maybe something's starting to stiffen up.
Bullpen has been scrambled, and Jared Hughes will be called upon to start warming up. Bullpen activity in the top of the 6th inning. Heisey behind, or ahead rather, in the count. Check swing roller. Mariano will fire it over there as Heisey was speeding down the line to get him. No runs, a hit, a man left. 5.5, still a 2-2 game at PNC Park. day to remember, September 4th. That's coming up Thursday at Stage AE. Allegheny Health Network Supermo with great pictures of the game so far. And he's number one out there.
He's pointing at Jolly Roger.
Yeah. I've always liked that mask.
Good one.
Yeah. Well, Andrew McCutchen will face Johnny Cueto to start the Pirate half of the 6th inning of a 2-2 ball game.
I remember last time he got away with some sliders on the inside part of the plate.
And a base hit from McCutchen.
And he went back slider, got this one out toward the other side of the plate. That's where the head of the bat lives.
Well, the Bucs need to find a way to get him home. Leadoff man on, nobody out. Neil Walker, the batter. McDonald's High School football returns to Root Sports next week. Tune in every Friday this fall as some of the region's best high school athletes and teams battle it out in hopes to make their way to the Whitfield Championships. The action kicks off when the North Allegheny Tigers host the Pine Richland Rams live Friday at 7:30 on Root Sports. Neil Walker's Pine Richland Rams, who were victorious 42-0 over Shaler in their opener on Friday. Getting ready for North Allegheny.
Go Tigers.
That's your side of the fence.
Yeah.
Pine Richland's my side of the fence.
That's right. Although I'm going to have to make a change.
Good.
My grandson looks like he's going to be a Ram.
Phillips goes to second, and on the exchange is how it'll be ruled if the ball left the glove of Santiago. Well, McCutchen is out. And Walker aboard on a fielder's choice. Well, the Reds retire the lead runner on this play.
Got out there and tried to pull the ball away from him. He's trying to put one in that hole over on that side. Did it bounce out of the glove? No, definitely was a catch, and dropped it when he went to take it out. Good call.
Slide by Kutch, helping to prevent a possible double play. Mike Davis singled his last time up into left field. He struck out looking in the first. 1 for 2 for Davis today. Fouled back for a strike, 1-1. Johnny Cueto has had 4 starts prior to today against the Pirates. He was 3-0 against the Bucs this year. Mike Davis would like to spoil the start for Cueto. Now 1-2.
PMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone showed you that pitch, just a borderline pitch away. That's the kind of excuse me, I'm sorry. That's the kind of pitch that Ike doesn't usually chase unless he gets 2 strikes on it.
Well, Davis that time took another pitch outside, and it was off the plate. See if Cueto comes back a little bit further inside on him here in this 2-2 count.
Fastball away. Yeah, just kind of a spoiling type swing. That swing right there, you can see the difference between a 2-strike approach and how you take a hack if you're ahead in the count. Just kind of reaching out there. If you're going to poke the ball maybe to left field. Most guys will change. Most guys will change with 2 strikes. The way they try and hit the ball.
How about that? How about that?
Definitely got the chanters going again.
What happened here? Just throwing a hand grenade over to first base.
Turns and Goes the lob.
And now the crowd back in it with a chance of Cueto. 3-2 to Davis. He's probably thinking, oh, not again, not here.
Well, it wasn't an accidental thing. He purposely threw it like that. I don't know what why he wanted to, but he did.
Throw to first, and back is Walker. Well, he throws the eephus over there, about 10 feet short, and he fires a bullet over there, makes it a close play. It's just changing speeds.
Add and subtract. Pitching's just math.
There goes Walker, 3-2. Is hit high in the air to right field, but playable for Chris Heisey. 2 out.
Just barely got underneath that one. Way, way high.
Walker aboard on the fielder's choice. McCutchen leadoff single. He was erased when Walker hit the ground ball to second base. Davis flying to right. 2 outs, and Marte the batter, starting with a base hit in the second inning, and hit into a replay-aided double play in the fourth. He was called safe at first base. Replay showed that he was out, so the call was overturned. Look at Marte. He's one of the hardest guys in baseball to double up. Grounds into a double play only once in every 100 at bats. 9th best in the National League. Jared Hughes up. Looks like he's ready. Marte with a chase. Bad swing. And the Pirates are done in the 6th. They leave a man aboard as Cueto works his way out of the inning again. Well, the Pirate fans aren't the only ones who chant Cueto, Cueto. Johnny also does it. Watch this when he came off the field. Mocking the Pirate fans.
He's just having a good time with it. I definitely get the feeling he's got a pretty good sense of humor. Watching him pitch over the years. Always messing around with his teammates.
He is due up second this inning. He and Edinson Volquez, former teammates, still very good friends. Pitch to Santiago. In for a strike. Switch hitting infielder. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. Ramon Santiago. One ball and 1 strike to Santiago. Currently hitting .253 for Cincinnati. Two and 1. Hughes has sat down in the Pirate pen. He's warmed up, ready to go. And with Santiago here, the 8-hitter, Liriano can get him. Then he's got Cueto. He's got a chance to get through another inning.
This is the big out right here.
Oh, that got one of the Pirates in the dugout. I think it might have hit Vance Worley on his pitching arm.
I hope the ball's all right. So it didn't hurt him. I guarantee there's a big scuff mark on that ball.
It hit the Vanimal on the forearm. Ground ball to short. Mercer. Strong throw. Just gets him.
Santiago immediately went to the dugout and pointed, but then it looked like he was out in real life without much of a problem.
Right.
Well, maybe I'm looking with my heart. I don't know. That was a lot closer than I thought it was.
Brian Price, the Reds manager, went to the top step of the dugout but never went on the field. So Santiago is out.
I don't think that probably is close enough that it's one that won't be overturned, so why challenge it?
Let's see what Johnny Cueto has up his sleeve.
He could do anything.
He's got 8 hits on the year.
He likes to try and bunt for base hits. Wasn't it Cueto that got called out for bunting and being out of the batter's box and bunting?
Yes.
Earlier this year?
Yes. Only time we've seen it all year. Maybe all decade. You just don't see it. The time was called. No pitch. A little late to give him time.
That was way outside anyway, so
all right.
Would have been ball 2.
1-1 to Cueto. Runs up to bunt. Fouls it on.
Yeah, he almost hit the bat with it. Or hit the ball with the bat. See that? Where he threw the bat down?
Edison's getting a kick out of it.
Watch him throw the bat down. Right, almost he threw it right at the baseball. Way up in front of the box again.
And he is out on strikes. And Chris Stewart forgot how many outs there were.
See, that's one of the things Cueto can do. He can get you confused.
I think Chris was running to the dugout. He thought that was out number 3.
He confuses everybody sometimes.
He tags him anywhere. Right there.
Tag, and we'll take it to the dugout. Yeah, that's all right.
They're saying, hey, Stu, that's only 2. Hamilton takes ball 1. Hamilton's 0 for 3 today. 101 pitches now for Liriano. Pirates activate the bullpen again. Strike call.
I think is his last go around here. He hits next inning.
Yeah, the spot's due up third in the bottom of the seventh. Strike two to Hamilton. Nice to see Frankie get him here. Pirates give Frankie a couple of runs and let the bullpen do its work the rest of the way. Frankie a win. If anybody's due for one, it's him. It's not that he's pitched poorly. I think if you just take that start out against the Braves, his ERA would be low since the All-Star break. Under 2. Now full count to Hamilton. 2-2 ball game late. This guy you don't want to put on. Negron waiting in the on-deck circle. 3-2 pitch. Swung on a ground ball up the middle. Mercer will spin. He'll throw. Base hit. Hamilton just too quick. Hamilton is 1 for 4.
Well, the little cat and mouse will begin now with 2 outs. Hamilton will definitely be trying to get himself in the scoring position. Ball just chopped over the top of the mound. With Hamilton, that's going to be a hit every time. Really a pretty good job on defense. It's just no contest. Hamilton runs so well.
First.
Oh, Ike way out in front of the bag on that.
Liriano, when he makes a step over there, it looks like he's right on that imaginary line that the umpires look for.
Look where Ike's going. He can't get a tag down from there. He has to get back a little bit. And Hamilton doesn't have to worry about much.
Hamilton's been caught 20 times, stolen 53. Again, the throw over. Billy Hatcher, the first base coach for the Reds. Davis again holding on in front.
Look how far out in front of the bag he is and how far he has to come back for a tag.
Strike one to Christopher Negron. 258 average, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in for Cincinnati. Negron starting his second game of the series at third base. He's played a lot of shortstop as well.
There he is again. Look at that. Now, as the throw's coming, he can backpedal, especially if it's an accurate throw.
Down the right field side, slicing. And caught on foul ground by the young man.
Well, whatever they're doing over there, it's kind of maybe messing with Hamilton's mind a little bit. He's got to be thinking, I got to steal. I mean, that's my game, and he's just standing there. Nice catch by the young man. He hasn't taken off yet.
No balls and 2 strikes on the hitter. Hamilton off of first. Liriano will go to first base. Hamilton back standing. Hamilton's next steal would tie him with Bob Bescher, who in 1909 as a rookie stole 54 and tie the franchise record for rookie stolen bases. 0-2. There goes Hamilton. Stewart will not make a throw.
No chance.
Now a go-ahead run in scoring position. Hamilton is at second with his 54th stolen base.
He even took time to take a peek. He knew he had such a great lead and jump.
A long time since a rookie has stolen this many bases for Cincinnati. 1-2 to Negron. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Outfield trying to sneak in as tight as they can and they have some kind of a chance at home, but boy, with Hamilton it's an awful slim chance.
In the air to center field, going back McCutcheon. He is backpedaling. Got it. And the Reds will leave a runner. Stretch time, middle of the 7th. Pirates 2, Reds 2. And we'll take you out to the ball game on this Sunday afternoon at PNC Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you now.
Two ball game as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Johnny Cueto getting strike 1 in on Jordy Mercer. Mercer hit his 8th home run of the season in the 2nd inning. Give the Pirates a 2-0 lead, and then Heisey tied it with a 2-run homer in the 5th off of Liriano. So Mercer, Stewart, and then Liriano's spot do up. And Jordy hits one to left field. Ludwig will run under it for the out.
Didn't sound good. I was hoping it wasn't. I was hoping it would just get out there and die, but carried a little too much.
Hit it just a little too well.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing about this game. You can do things too well, and it's not good enough.
That I've said this so many times. There is no game that I can think of where luck on a daily basis plays a bigger part in the results as the game of baseball. I mean, that is why you have to play so many games over a 6-month period, so you kind of weed the luck out, and the best teams, best players do rise to the top. But on a given afternoon, as John Wayner likes to say, round ball, round bat, anything can happen.
0-1 pitch. Stewart over the head of Cueto, but right to Phillips. 2 men out quickly for the Pirates in the 7th inning. Take a look now at our AT&T fan photo of the day. Let's see what it is today. Christian Koch sending us the photo. Rain, go away. And let's get a sweep today. Thank you for that submission. You can keep the submissions coming. Hashtag Bucks fan photo. Well, the rain went away, so that part is done. Well, the Pirates need to get a sweep. Brent Morrell will now stand in for the Pirates. Morrell was brought back from AAA yesterday, and Jeff Locke was optioned back.
Kind of a way of expanding the roster early.
Using the end of the minor league season. And the spot with the Locke spot not.
You option out a couple of starters that aren't going to pitch, and now you got, instead of 25 guys, you can essentially, now you're carrying 27. Because you have Cole and Locke, you don't have to count those guys, so you get to bring up 2 guys early. It's a nice way to manipulate the numbers a little.
Tomorrow, those guys come back. Strike 3 to Morrell. Pirates gone in order in the 7th. We'll head to the 8th. Tight one here on the North Shore. Still 2-2.
Is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
On this week's Inside Pirates Baseball, champion gymnast Nastia Lukin tries her arm out in baseball. Starling Marte breaks out of the plate at just the right time, and there's much more to see on Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network. Tonight, after postgame on Root Sports. And of course, would be today after postgame, not tonight. But if it stays 2-2, it could be tonight after postgame. But we're hoping it's today.
Yeah, I think it'll be today. I got a good feeling about this.
Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, checking in on his starter, Johnny Cueto. As the Pirates have made a pitching change. Francisco Liriano out. Right-hander Jared Hughes is in, and he will face Brandon Phillips. Phillips is 0 for 3. And a strike call to Phillips.
Hey, Hughes has really done great work this year with that sinker ball. Pitching in very important type situations like here. 8th inning of a tie ball game. He's been doing it well. He's kept that ERA under 2.
This one's deep to left center, but on the run, McCutchen. Long way to get it. And there's one out.
Just fly out. Like it was downstairs at the knees. Good job by Phillips getting that one airborne. Big ballpark. It's deep out there by the notch.
Batter now will be Todd Frazier. Frazier in the cleanup spot today. 1 for 3. Frazier hitting the number 2 spot in the batting order the first 2 games of this series. This one's chopped foul. Cardinals have added 2 runs against the Cubs. Now 5-2 in the 5th. Pair of solo home runs for St. Louis. Matt Holliday and Colton Wong.
Boy, he's on a long ball tear, isn't he, Holliday? Had 2 yesterday.
He's got 16 now. So 5-2. Cubs hope they can hang on. That ball game is in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-2 to Frazier.
Slider. Another one. I wonder who was the very first guy to call that pitch a slider. Just because it slides away.
That's a good question.
He lost to history.
Bouncer to Harrison.
He was deep on the line. He'll make a long throw because he's playing no doubles. Frazier looking out the scoreboard, get a replay of where that pitch was. J.A. doing the same thing. I think he was looking to see maybe how deep he was when he made that play. You see everybody in all sports now that they look up at the big scoreboards and get some instant feedback on what they're doing. And I guess there's you can do that in football. Not even replay. It's like live action.
Yeah.
If you're running with the ball, you can look up and see if anybody's trying to catch it.
Some stadiums, the screens are bigger than others, too. Pena bounces one on one hop. Walker throws him out. Nice tidy work by Jared Hughes. 2-2 heading to the bottom of the 8th. Top of the order up. 2-2. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. That looks a little appetizing. Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
That looked appetizing.
Did.
The Miller Lite.
Both?
The Miller Lite.
Wash one down with the other.
You need something to wash it down with.
Well, Bob,
you like sushi, don't you?
I don't mind it. I think it was made to be eaten. Root for the Pirates. And root for Harrison. Leadoff man aboard. He's 1 for 3. The first pitch home run in the first inning. So Josh now will face Johnny Cueto for the 4th time. So red starter out there. Starting the bottom of the 8th inning. Pirates trying to figure him out.
Let's go, boys. Push one across. Any way you can.
Pirates have men on base in the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th. Not able to get anybody around. Harrison a leadoff base hit.
When you need a hero, who do you think's going to step up, huh? Jay starts it off.
Well, what do you say? A leadoff single. 2 hits for Jay Hay.
Tried to jam him inside, well, way inside. The ball is in just above the label, but not far enough for Harrison not to at least push it out toward left field. There's a case of hitting it poorly and getting a hit. Wouldn't carry to left, just dropped right in there.
If he squared it up, he might have hit a line drive out.
Might have. Let's see how the Pirates play it here with nobody out.
Go to first, Harrison back.
A little scouting mission there. Didn't see Lambeau give anything away. Didn't see the hand run up the bat or anything on the.
Again. Fans giving it to Johnny Cueto here in the 8th.
Big rip. I'd like to have that one back. It was a fastball in the hittable part of the plate, strike zone.
Lambeau's only sacrificed 1 time this year in the minor leagues, but certainly doesn't look like he's up there to do that. Lambeau homered 6 times over his last 8 games with the Indianapolis Indians.
I think some people are chanting Cueto, some people are chanting Lambeau.
Reds paying close attention to Harrison. He is the potential go-ahead run. Pitches for Cueto. He's past Lambeau at 95. And Cueto gets ahead of the Pirates right fielder. No balls, 2 strikes.
They definitely reached back a little bit. Got a little extra on that last fastball. Tampa needs to think about that 2-strike approach. Get something put out there firm in play. Preferably a base hit. And with 2 strikes, you don't necessarily expect him to pull the ball here unless he gets something real slow. They stay fastball. Hoping for a line drive to left center. Just far enough to left center to where J-Hay could make the turn at second and get the third. No outs. They've got a backdoor curveball. At least that's going to be the attempt. Oh, 2. They're up and away. So what is a 2 to Cueto? It's not a curveball.
Not a curveball. Maybe there was supposed to be a 2. Maybe Pena's telling him that. Two balls, 2 strikes. And now Lambeau ready.
Saw the wiggle of all 4 fingers there. He's putting down a changeup. After he's throwing that fastball by him upstairs, I think what they're thinking right now is, okay, he's going to try and speed up the bat so he can catch up with the fastball. Now they change their mind. Fastball in.
Full count.
Maybe trying to set up that changeup away. See if he gives a little wiggle and away this time. They gave him the wiggle, but Cueto said no to it. Here comes a curveball. I called it a curveball last time. Whatever 2 was.
Whatever the 2.
If it is a curveball, that one he threw last time absolutely didn't break an inch. Traditionally, a 2 is a curveball, but there's no rule that says it has to be. It could be a slider.
Harrison goes, and Lambeau fouls it back.
2 is a slider.
Cueto gets a new baseball. Didn't like the one that was thrown out there.
Two's his cutter. That's what that is. Look it up real quick. That's fastball away.
Thought he might catch Harrison leaning. Josh taking off on the 3-2 pitch last time. 17 stolen bases for Harrison. Nobody out. 3-2 pitch to Lambeau. There goes Harrison, and Lambeau hits it up in the air to Phillips. There's 1 out.
Yeah, good job by J-Hay quickly throwing on the brakes and getting back. I think they ended up getting him with a cutter. Instead of trying to backdoor it, though, they brought it in underneath Lambeau's hands and jammed him. He couldn't get the head of the bat out. J-Hay looking over his shoulder, knowing what the situation is with the count. So he saw the ball popped up, didn't have to get any help. Made all the decisions himself, which is the best way. You don't have to look around and decide where the ball is.
Andrew McCutchen is 1 for 3, singled in the 6th inning. Fastball by him. Struck him out on a high fastball in the 3rd inning.
Well, he's really doing a good job of reaching back and trying to get a little extra velocity the last couple of hitters.
Cueto's 0-1. That's fouled off, and he gets ahead of Kutch. 0-2.
He's come at him with a couple of fastballs in a row.
Three pitches for Cueto. Large percentage of them strikes, 74. 0-2 to McCutchen. Harrison at first, following the leadoff single. 1 out. And McCutchen bangs one into left field, a base hit. And J.A.'s got to stop at second base. second hit of the afternoon for McCutchen.
Cueto not too happy with the location of that 0-2 pitch. It was supposed to be fastball away, and he just didn't get it far enough. He tries to go by him with a fastball, does that, puts another one on the inside corner, wants to go away with that fastball, but left it on the plate, elevated a little bit, but on the plate. He did not want to do that ahead 0-2. Mistake pitch, it's cost him a base hit. Now the winning run, or excuse me, the go-ahead run is just sitting out there at second base, staring in. One good single away, and the Pirates will take the lead.
Strike one to Walker. Walker without a hit today, 0 for 2 of the walk. 59 RBIs for Walker. Out down there into the camera well.
Well, I got the head out on that ball. I think that might have been one of those cutters that they were trying to get in on him, and Walker said, "No, you're not."
Nothing in 2 to Walker. Cueto got ahead of McCutchen 0-2. Now gets ahead of Walker 0-2. Runners off first and second, 1 out.
That's the pitch he's been trying to make this inning to Lambeau, and now Walker, the left-hander, is trying to start the cut ball outside and have it just move a few inches and catch the outside corner.
Ball, 2-strike pitch from Cueto. And Walker taps this one up the first base side. With 1 play. That's it right there. Now that moves 2 men into scoring position. Harrison down to third base. And McCutchen over to second. Second and third, 2 down. And for the Pirates at the plate, it's Ike Davis. Price going out to check on his starter.
Now they're going to talk maybe a little bit of some strategy right here with the base open, lefty up, and Marte on deck. Maybe want to give him a little bit of a breather, and he's also, trying to get his opinion on who he wants to face. And I think when you have somebody out there like Cueto, it's not always just a one-way street. How you want to handle this, who do you feel more comfortable you can get out. You want to go after Davis, you got that base open, remember that. You don't have to throw him a strike. A lot of things that could be talked about in that scenario right there with the manager going out to the mound.
Davis a chance to drive in the go-ahead run, bottom of the 8th. Jay Hayden less than 90 feet away. Davis with a base hit in the 4th, 1 for 3. 247 with runners in scoring position is Davis. And that one's fouled off over the third base dugout. Tuesday night against St. Louis with 2 men on. Ike got the game winner. He blasted it out of here. Way out of here. Nothing in 2. Again, Cueto consistently getting ahead of the Pirates hitters. No balls and 2 strikes.
Now this is kind of a different type of a bat for Ike. He's a very aggressive swing at these first 2 pitches. One on borderline, and this last one definitely inside off the plate. they're trying to crowd him. And they were able to accomplish it on these first two.
Two on, two out for the Pirates. 2-2 ball game. Mike Davis awaiting the 2-strike pitch from Cueto. Cueto's got the sign. Pitch. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Davis. Pena needs another meeting. Coming up following this game, Dan Potash and John Wayner will break this game down for you. And Ike loops one down the left field side, drifting foul, and Negron makes an incredible catch. What a play by Christopher Negron. And that ends the Pirate threat, as the Bucks leave 2 men in scoring position in the bottom of the 8th inning. Negron didn't quit on it. He makes a great play to retire Ike Davis. Men on second and third, caught the ball in foul ground. Incredible defensive play, retiring Ike Davis. Labor Day sale going on now. Save 50% and get MLB.com at bat premium features for only $4.99. Follow every Pirates game with live look-ins, replay reviews, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Sale ends soon. Visit pirates.com/mobile today. Jared Hughes will start his second inning of work. He retired the side in order in the 8th. He'll face Ryan Ludwig to start things off in the top of the 9th. Ball 1 to Ludwig. Ludwig singled to right field with 2 outs in the 6th. He walked in the 5th and rode home for free on the Heisey homer. Bouncer wide at third base, foul for strike 1. Cardinals have added a couple of more runs, Bob. They made it a 5-4 game over Chicago, or against Chicago. The Cubs still leading by a run. Bottom of the 6th.
Come on, Cubbies.
1-1. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
He was normally not a upstairs with the fastball type of pitcher, but had some success with that one. He's all about pitching to contact, getting the ground balls. That's what he prefers. He tries it again, but I don't think that's by the design, especially the way Stewart had to go after it. I think he was expecting it up there. Sometimes you can just overthrow, try to throw that sinker a little too hard, and it comes out of your hand way too quickly and stays upstairs.
2-2 from Hughes to Ludwig. Struck him out.
That's where he's good.
One down for Cincinnati in the 9th.
That's where he wants to throw that ball. Probably trying for something down and in, but the key word here is down.
Hughes gets the strikeout. Now he'll face Chris Heisey, the right fielder. Heisey, 2-run home run in the 5th. That's why we're here. Tied at 2 in the 9th. One ball, no strikes. Now. Well, the Brewers are underway with the Giants. It's 1-0 Milwaukee in the 1st in San Francisco. Keeping an eye on those 2 ball games. Scoreboard watching season in full swing. We wrap up the 5th month of the season. We'll start September tomorrow. Heisey drills one down the left field line, and the Reds have taken the lead. 3-2 as Chris Heisey homers for the 2nd time today.
Down and in fastball. Golfed it right down the line.
Seventh home run of the year for Heisey.
They put that ball right exactly where Stewart had the glove. Kind of a natural place, though, I think, for a lot of the right-hand hitters to try and look. The tough part is, 1, get that ball in the air down there, and 2, even if you get in the air and hit it hard, how are you going to keep it fair? Heisey was able to do both.
Now the sellout crowd a little disappointed at this point in time. Pirates still have an opportunity in the bottom of the 9th. Ramon Santiago comes up to bunt, pulls it back and takes a ball. And Johnny Cueto becomes the pitcher of record for Cincinnati to the good. Jared Hughes is on the hook. Home run's been the story today. That's how all the runs have scored, on home runs. Bouncer to second base. 2 men out.
Well, we knew going into this game with Cueto that not going to be easy to score a lot of runs.
Mercer got one. Harrison got one. That's been the Pirates' offense. Now Aroldis Chapman getting up for Cincinnati. Justin Wilson working in the Pirate pen. Top of the ninth, solo home run for Heisey. Reds try to salvage a game in this 3-game set. Pirates will have to beat Chapman in the bottom of the ninth. Something a lot of teams haven't done. Pirates have done it before. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jack Hanahan, pinch hitter. Starling Marte will lead off the bottom of the ninth inning for the Pirates. Jordy Mercer will follow. And Chris Stewart scheduled to hit third.
Well, they'll know what they have to hit.
Fastball.
They have to hit the big heater.
Two balls and 1 strike. 2-2 to Hanahan. Field. That's down for a hit toward the corner. Hanahan's going to get waved to second base. Throw from Marte comes in. Hanahan stopped about halfway down and then retreated. Marte holds him to a single.
That's a big arm right there, going into the corner and digging it out and putting that one hopper on the back. You don't see too many guys who'll be able to turn that into a single. Marte's one of them.
Glenn Hurl coming out to get Hughes. We'll bring in the lefty Wilson to turn the switch hitter Hamilton around about right-handed. Take a timeout. 3-2 Cincinnati in the ninth. That afternoon game on Labor Day. Right now the Pirates trying to figure a way to get it done. Mike Leake, starting pitcher, not working today. He will pinch run for Hanahan at first base, and the left-hander Wilson will make his 61st appearance.
Wilson, and I think really has made some progress with. We're talking about cutters today, with his cutter, especially of late. It's been a big pitch for him. A lot of times he's actually had more success against the right-hand hitters than the left-hand hitters. And I think this cutter that he's developing might change that around a little bit.
Backs Hamilton out. 1 ball, no strikes. Hamilton a base hit in the 7th, stole a base and was stranded.
See his cutter when he throws home, it'll be in the low 90s instead of the mid to upper 90s, and you'll see just a little bit of left to right movement on the ball as it finishes. It's just coming off the back of that fastball a little bit. That's why they call it a cutter. It's like you're just kind of cutting it a little bit, not staying right behind the ball as you let it go. Somewhere in between a slider and a fastball.
Justin Wilson hasn't zeroed in the strike zone yet. 3-0 to Hamilton. Three balls, no strikes. Chris Heisey, his 5th career 2-home-run game. 2-run homer in the 5th, a solo shot in the 9th. Pirates will have to face Chapman in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hamilton takes the strike, 3-1.
He's taking all the way.
Jared Hughes gave up the home run. Jared's been so solid this year. Just a hiccup today. Hopefully the Pirates bats can bail him out. Toward the right field line, Lambeau long run. It's a foul ball. Mike Leake already around second base. Jose Tabata with a bat in his hand. Pedro Alvarez. Pedro still suffering the effects of a sprained foot. Happened in the St. Louis series. Dove for a ball hit down the first baseline. 3-2 pitch. And this one in the air to right field. Lambeau has it lined up. The home run by Heisey gives the Reds the lead. Last wraps for the Pirates going to the bottom of the 9th.
Come back in dramatic fashion. How do you like that? Wow, how exciting is this? That's going to clear the deck in a big way. It's a bomb.
Pirates want another fantastic finish here today in front of a sold-out crowd of 37,000 plus. Hoping to sweep the Reds, down by a run, however, and they'll have a tough task facing the left-handed flamethrower for Cincinnati, Aroldis Chapman. Chris Heisey moves from right field to left field. Ryan Ludwig is out, and Jay Bruce comes in to play right field. That's the defensive change for Cincinnati, and there's Chapman on the hill.
You don't see numbers like this very often. Just amazing stuff. Look at the 85 strikeouts in 43 innings. That's pretty incredible. One home run for the entire season. The opponent batting average 134. That's barely a decent hitting pitcher. I mean, that's what the league does. And there's no pitchers mixed in against Chapman. That's all regular hitters, and they're all hitting 134. Tough as they come. Best fastball in baseball, I would imagine.
Now put your rally caps on and get ready to go. Starling Marte standing in. Marte 1 for 3 today. .273 for Marte. Pirates need a base runner. Strike one. 99. We'll start to see him throw him in the triple digits here any time now. Marte having a good August, though. 337 his average in August. Something off that one. Marte out in front, 0-2.
Hey, cheap, try and get to that big fastball so you start swinging early, and if he does throw you something else, that really makes it tough if he's able to throw off-speed pitches where he wants to. There's 101.
Two to Marte. Fouled it back. The Pirates this month 13-13. They haven't had a winning August since the 2007 season. Looking to find a way.
They got to hit a great fastball to win this one. He tried to throw a breaking ball. That's what happens sometimes with this breaking ball. He didn't have a good touch with it. He's certainly just a power type guy, and he left it way out of the strike zone there.
Mercer in the on deck circle. 2-ball, 2-strike pitch.
He can't throw it by him. Not yet, anyway. He's at least got a piece of the 101, and that one right at 100.
Two to Starling.
Wow.
Struck him out. Off-speed pitch.
Well, he had command of that one. He's trying to get a piece of those triple-digit fastballs, and then he does throw that breaking ball right where he wants to, and that's just a wipeout pitch for him. It's not fair. That's what Marte's saying.
Well, 1 out, and Mercer at the plate. He takes a strike. Russell Martin has come out, grabbed a bat. He's in the on-deck circle for the Pirates. Oh, 1. In the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jordy homered back in the second inning. Had a base hit in the fourth, 2 for 3. But he has not had any luck against Chapman in his career. I guess he's due. and 2 strikes.
Jordy's got to be thinking he's afraid of me. He won't challenge me. Guy throws well over 100 miles an hour at times, and I've got 3 straight breaking balls from him. What's up with that?
Mercer strikes out. 2 gone. Take a look at the Nissan Road ahead for the Pirates tomorrow afternoon. Bucks head to St. Louis, take on the Cardinals. Garrett Cole at 7-4 against Lance Lynn. He's 14-8. Jeff Locke, Adam Wainwright. The matchup on Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday afternoon, Edinson Volquez and Shelby Miller. Road is going to be tough. Pirates embarking on a long road trip right after this ball game. 3 in St. Louis, 3 in Chicago, 4 in Philadelphia before returning home here midway through the month. 0 for 3 against Chapman is Russell Martin, pinch hitting with 2 outs in the 9th. Strike 1. Nothing in 1 to Rush, hitting .294. 1 ball and 1 strike. Martin's got a good on base percentage, .416, so maybe he can get on. Jose Tabata on deck circle. 1-1 pitch and a looper hit to shallow right field. Jay Bruce coming on. He'll make the catch. 1-2-3 go the Pirates. And the Reds come back down 2-0 to score 3 runs unanswered. Johnny Cueto holds the Pirates to 2 or fewer runs again here at PNC Park. In his 16 starts here, he has allowed more than 2 runs only 13 times. He becomes the second 16-game winner behind Clayton Kershaw, who beat him to win number 16. Chapman the save, Cueto the win. Hughes suffers the loss. 3 RBIs and 2 home runs for Chris Heisey as he supplies all of the Reds offense today.
No, we know we needed to hit some home runs today off Cueto for the victory, hoping that they could be at least one of them different than a solo shot. That was going to be his vulnerability, but both of them ended up being solo shots, and that's it. He's just a tough guy to have to group base hits against. He's not going to give up 2, 3, 4 hits in an inning. He's too good for that. You got to have the quick strike. We did today, but as I said, there were solos and ended up not being enough.
Well, the Pirates still have not won 5 straight games this season. Their winning streak stops at 4 straight. That's a season high. Record goes to 71 and 65. Final score: the Reds 3 and the Pirates 2. The Bucks take the series, winning 2 of 3. Let's send you downstairs where Rob King and John Wayner are standing by. Dan Potash, beg your pardon, Dan.
There you go, buddy. All right, Tim, thank you very much. In a day in which we thought the Pirates would actually get some offense against Johnny Cueto, something they have not done all season long, especially when Cueto faces Francisco Liriano. Starts off well, but then Cueto settled down.
As Bob Walk just mentioned, he's one of the best, maybe the best right-hander in the National League, and you like the quick offense, the instant offense early, and the Pirates have been exceptional when they've scored in that first inning, but 2 you think a lot of times might be enough, but Chris Heisey obviously made all the difference, but Cueto, you'd like to scratch more to 2 against him, but as Bob said, it's hard to string hits against that guy, and just one of those deals where Heisey was hot, swung the bat well, the 2 long balls.
Well, just as we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, presented by Miller Lite. And let's talk about that Bucco offense. First pitch of the game for the Pirates, and it's Josh Harrison. Who else? Going deep to left field off of Johnny Cueto to give the Buccos an early 1-0 lead. They weren't done playing long ball in the second inning when Jordy Mercer steps up and steps out. Also a solo shot. The Pirates appeared to be, I don't know if you could say cruising, but in good shape. Reason to dance? Maybe so. With an early 2-0 lead, but it was not enough as the Reds come back to win it by a score of 3-2. Okay, we are just getting started. We'll bring you Clint Hurdle's post-game comments. We'll also get player reaction from the Bucco clubhouse. John Wayner and I will break down today's game and get you ready for a big series coming up in St. Louis starting tomorrow. It's coming up next right here live from PNC Park on Pirates Postgame, presented by the Allegheny Health Network. Don't you move.